Hi, this is LK Love, your host for Dating Diaries. We have an exciting show today. Can't wait to introduce you to Keith.
You know, if you could add Keith from the Empire of Zamunda.
No. Negative.
What's up? My name is Keith, 48 years old, from California, from the Bay Area, the Bay Area. I'm just, happy to be on this show to get my perspective on dating from a male's perspective.
I know you're new to the area, right?
Yeah, I moved here 3 years ago from the Bay Area, San Jose.
Okay.
San Francisco, but that's Northern California, because I think when most people think of California and Arizona, they're talking about Los Angeles or LA. And the Bay Area is a 6-hour drive from there.
Okay.
So it's a 13-hour drive from the Bay Area to Phoenix.
To here.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your dating experience. How would you sum it up, your dating experience, since you've been in Arizona or in Phoenix?
I would say it's a little interesting. I would say compared to the Bay Area, there's some pluses and minuses. Like in the Bay Area, it's more competitive because from a male's perspective, because the Bay Area is a tech-driven area, financial-driven area, so you have a lot of males there, more men there because of the tech industry. And so I think it's more in favor of women there in terms of the sheer numbers.
Ladies, we might need to move to Oakland.
Because of the sheer numbers and the guys that are there. It doesn't necessarily mean if you're black, you're gonna have a lot of black professional guys, but I'm just saying, men in general, you have more professional guys there. Here in Arizona, I think it's probably either equal men and women, or maybe a little bit more women than men. Mm-hmm. So I think it kind of makes things a little bit more easier from that perspective. But what I will say is that coming from California and the Bay Area, I would say dating here, I find that women are more aggressively pushing for a relationship without taking the steps to get to know you. As opposed to California, you may hang out for a few months and then you get to a relationship, whereas here, they don't even really want to even hang out with you without the preposition that you're going to be in a relationship. Like, how do I know that if we haven't hung out?
Well, what is that? So, which sounds weird to me because I'm kind of traditional, like you date, like there's some steps. Mm-hmm. So tell me what that looks like for you. So as soon as you meet them and you go out with them one time, then you're in a relationship?
No, I wouldn't say that. So I went on a date with somebody, and we met, and we went to the movies a couple times, and we hadn't necessarily kissed or held hands, and she's like asking me, where's this going? And I'm like, we're going to sit down in the movie theater. Like, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, how can you ask somebody where something's going if you haven't been intimate, you haven't kissed, you haven't decided what you're looking for? I understand you, in your mind, you want to be in a relationship, but I don't think in 2 weeks you can say, where is this going? And you haven't built anything. That's just my opinion on that situation.
So I have a question, because I know hosting a singles group and kind of going back and forth like in the dating community.
It was a turnoff to me.
It was a turnoff to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes you hear guys, and a lot of guys will say they know right away. They kind of know what they feel.
Well,
is that not accurate?
That's inaccurate, because how can you know about something? You know that you have an attraction to this person. You know what they represent, the dots that they have checked. What you don't know is if you're going to actually be compatible. And that only comes with time.
With time. So let me tell you this with the compatibility, because I've talked to some people who talk about needing to know the compatibility like right away. How do you, is that like it? And a lot of men sometimes are non-committal, right? So I think sometimes that's why women...
That's a misunderstanding, I think.
Okay,
because
talk to me about it.
I think a man, once he feels strongly about somebody, he will have no problem being in a relationship with that person. But he may run across a number of other women that he may not see a future with, but he may have a physical attraction or like to be around them. He doesn't want to commit to them. That doesn't mean he doesn't want to commit to somebody else who he has feelings for.
So most men will commit when they find the right person. So if he's not committing to you, it's not.
You're not the right person.
You're just not the person. You're not his person.
You're not the one. And you could probably talk to a lot of guys who supposedly are not committed, and you find out later they're getting married or they're in a relationship. You know what I mean? So that's just
with what you said, as far as needing time to figure that out. Then how long should that person?
There's no time. I don't think you should put a time. Why should
at what point do you know?
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
If it takes you 6 months or a couple of years to be with somebody for the rest of your life, that is a small amount of time in the whole scheme of things. When you try to force something in too short of a time, you can have a couple of things. You can get exactly what you want, which is that relationship. But that doesn't mean that relationship is going to last, because basically he's doing something that he really doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to lose you, right? And then later on, he's like, okay, now I got buyer's regret. She really isn't the person I want to be with. And then now you got this cycle of constantly
because
being in
he did it sooner
relationships.
than he was ready.
Well, I'm saying she's gonna have a cycle of being in multiple relationships because she's getting men who aren't ready. And number two, a guy will. The second thing is you can push somebody away. They may have been interested, but your aggressiveness about wanting a relationship and wanting marriage and all this stuff now, without getting a chance to know the person, he could be a rapist. He could be a serial killer. How do you know? You know what I mean? Like, he could be telling you everything that you want to hear, right? Just so he can conquer you. Now he's on to somebody else. Instead of just taking your time, then you can figure those things out. Or he may be a great person, just not for you. So how do you know that right away? I don't think you do.
So women, he's saying, take your time, don't rush to get into a relationship, and don't rush the person you're with, because one, you may end up pushing them away, or two, you may get somebody that you're really not compatible with because you rushed the situation.
Absolutely.
Is what I'm hearing him say.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. In my opinion, I just think people here, this is my opinion, focus too much on the title. Like, that's the goal, like that's the end goal. Like, let's just have a title. What does that mean? You have a title. How many people are married and they cheating on each other, are unhappy? They got that title. That doesn't, you don't win the race just because you get married.
Seen them cakes. I know it's hella niggas tryna holler out of the gate, but let me roll you something up and take you out on a date. We can hit the 44, I'll put a steak on your plate, and I'ma tell you nice things to put a smile on your face. I think these runs is getting to me now, cause I can't wait, and I'm about to shoot my shot, girl, I got that bang.